Hey guys, welcome to another segment of Word of the Day. This is Caesar with Inspire Movement. Thank you for joining us. So today we're exploring the word accountability. So when we define accountability, we think of taking or being assigned responsibility for something that you have done or something that you are supposed to be doing. Some characteristics of folks that are accountable would be being responsive, for example, answering your emails and your requests at work. This would be a way of exemplifying that trait. Also, doing what you say, doing what you promise that you're going to do. Your word is your bond, and you don't detract from that. It's something that you always follow through. Taking responsibility for your actions, that would be another trait, I would say, of somebody that's highly accountable. You are proactive to solve problems at work. So when you see that something is wrong, you don't wait for somebody to do it. You go ahead and hands-on and take care of it. Other traits, you don't blame others or make excuses. So if you were assigned to do something and something didn't go right, you don't try to, kind of be sneaky one way or the other. You accept responsibility and you try to do right by it. Another trait that I would say is that your actions are always ethical, and you don't detract from that. Your moral convictions are strong, and you stand by that. Another thing is when it pertains to your trustworthiness and your transparency and the fact that you are an honest person. This is another quality trait that somebody that's accountable and reliable exemplifies. And I would say lastly, outcomes. You're a person that's basically differentiated because you get the job done. So accountable, you're reliable, you're trustworthy. These are some of the things that I would say exemplify somebody that carries those traits. So how can we make ourselves more accountable? How are some ways that we can become more accountable to ourselves? I would say one of them is to accept the fact that we're not always right, that sometimes we're wrong. That would be one way to sort of factor that into our lives, that we're not always right, and it's okay, right? Also to be mindful and to be consider other people's opinions in an impartial way. I would say that's another way. Also to choose progress, to know that from every situation that we're in, we can learn from, whether it be good or bad. Also to take action, to know basically that we're the biggest determining factor from whatever it is that we perceive to be success. We're the biggest determining factor. And lastly, I would say to be humble. We talked about that at length in other segments before. So humility factors into holding ourselves more accountable. Albert Einstein, for example, had a very telling quote when tying all of this thing about holding ourselves more accountable together, which basically said that the very definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different outcome. Accountability in terms of leadership and what that does for, say, a workplace, boy, it improves performance. It creates a sense of trust within the team. It just engenders a different working environment. It's definitely more positive overall. So some of my own personal reflections when it comes to accountability, I've had the really, really good fortune to work with and know people that are incredibly reliable, incredibly accountable, that I have used both younger than me and older than me, that I have used as prime examples in my life of how I should comport, how I should behave as a man. So that's been something that I can tell you, for example, at the workplace, the ease of work and the stability of work is so much better because these people just exude confidence, as I mentioned previously. So I've had the good fortune to learn from others. One prime example when I was much younger, in my early 20s, of learning to be accountable, to be responsible, was when I was pursuing a certification at work that required sort of like a manual a maneuvering of machinery. And a gentleman at work who had taken the certification previously offered to help me with it. And he said, hey Caesar, why don't you come to the parking lot on a Saturday morning, 7:30 in the morning. I'll be there and I'll help you with some of the tips that I think are going to help you. So we set that as an agreement. And that day, the day that I was supposed to be there at 7:30, I was actually 5 to 10 minutes late. And I recall that at the intersection close to the workplace, I saw his vehicle already leaving the parking lot and basically heading home. And I waved at him as if to say, hey, I'm here. And the only thing that he did was sort of signal his watch as if to say, hey, mean what you say what you mean, and mean what you say. So that was sort of harsh for me in my early 20s, but it was absolutely necessary to learn to be accountable and reliable, and to know that when you commit to doing something with someone, make sure that you follow through and do it, because your word has to be your bond. And it's something that I continue to work with even to this day, but it's something that I definitely took to heart. So it's something that I think all of us can certainly hold ourselves more accountable for the things that we do, and should definitely try to. So let's all try to be more accountable. I think that's something that definitely will help us through our lives, and will help us cement those relationships, particularly at the workplace, that we want to keep to get to where we want to go. So anyways, with that, I hope that you guys, again, find some positivity in some of these reflections on this important word, accountability. And I look forward to hearing from you. Please give us some positive or negative critique, whether it be on Instagram, on Facebook, as I've mentioned before. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are currently working on 3 different interview segments with community leaders, local community leaders, with 2 different types of series, which I think will be very compelling and interesting to you, and I know that you're all going to benefit from. So I look forward to hearing from you again next week, and have a blessed week. Thank you.